Welcome back to the Centered on Buffalo podcast. We're joined by one of my favorite former teammates, absolute beast on the field at safety for the Bills, previously with the Packers, and that's Micah Hyde. How you doing, my brother?
I'm great, man. I'm sorry if you can. I hope you can hear me well. I'm hiding in the bedroom. My kids are out there, so they're out there screaming. So let me know if you can't hear me.
Yeah, and you're on full-time dad mode now, huh?
Mm-hmm. Full time dad mode, man. It's awesome. We go swimming every single day. We take the kids to the park. We take them to Legoland. Took my son to his first Padres game the other day,
Oh,
which
that's
was
fun.
which was pretty awesome. Saw a grand slam. He was excited. Like just that's something that I grew up doing, going to baseball games. I can remember being that little kid, trying to get autographs and stuff. I'm sure you know. So seeing that look on his face, oh man, it meant the world to me.
Yeah, that's so cool. Are you staying in shape right now in case there's a return for this season?
Yeah, I am. I am staying in shape, and actually, man, I'm running my ass off right now, and it feels good.
Good.
It feels good to. I mean, like the off seasons, man. You just try to get back to feeling as best as possible from a long season, and that's where I'm at right now, and I feel great.
That's good. You look good. Are you planning on so I had Will Compton on my podcast at one point, and Will Compton talks about late in his career, he liked to skip OTAs, skip part of training camp, come in, be ready to roll. Is that the Micah Hyde plan for this year?
Yeah, and look, man. I To be honest, like I really don't even know. Like, if
Good.
people keep asking, like, how do you not know? Like, I'm like, because I finished last season, and it was tough. My teammates, coaches, Sean, even Bean, everybody knew how coming off a neck surgery, and exactly about the neck and how crucial it is.
Right.
I knew it was gonna be a tough season, but it got to the point towards the end of the season where those stingers were getting worse and worse, and it was just like, do I really want to continue, put my body through this? So it was such a tough season that I said, when this season's over, let me just, get my body right, get my mind right, and I'm just gonna focus on, just every single day improving myself, and come OTAs if I'm ready, which OTAs have started, then I'll do it, or training camp, or whatever it may be. But right now, I'm just taking it a day at a time and enjoying the family time, and because these are crucial moments for my kids too. Like 4 and 2. I mean, like it's each and
Yep.
every day is like a new stepping stone for them to learn this or do that. So to be 33 years old and be at the house, majority of the time, obviously, this is probably the busiest I've ever been. But to be around them before they really get heavy into school and stuff like that, it's perfect.
With your neck deal, is there a severe risk of like long-term damage with the stingers, or is it more, just not wanting to keep irritating something that's obviously already been dinged up before?
Yeah, so I got the fusion on the disc above, but with that comes the pressure from the disc below, and so the disc below has been the one that's been aggravating. Before I got surgery, up in LA with Dr. Watkins, he mentioned to me, "Do you want to continue playing?" And I'm like, "Oh, no brainer, yes." He said, "Well, you can't get a double fusion because the top one is bad, that you need to get something done to even play again, but the bottom one, you're at risk of maybe damaging that even more if you have that, just to fix the top." And so I said, "Oh, I want to keep playing. Let's just fix the top." So last season rolls around and that bottom one started acting up, and it's like later on down the road, later on in life, eventually, I might have to get that second one operated on, but I was hoping later on in life and not, 2, 3 years. So, it's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, it is tough. It is tough. And that's a different situation than I was in. For me, it was a little bit higher. So there was no even possible return for a fusion. I would have done, honestly, I would have done the exact same thing that you did if that were an option. And I respect your decision in that. And then now you got to figure out what's best for you and your family and take your
Exactly.
time with that. And
Mhm.
look, when I put out on Twitter today that, or X, whatever it's called now, that you were coming on the podcast, what do people want to hear? Like, a majority of the responses were simply just tell Micah we love him, tell him we want him back, but tell him we love him, tell him how much we appreciate him, which just shows how much this fan base loves you. So take your time on that, and I won't bug you. I won't bug you anymore on that throughout
You're
this
good.
podcast. Whenever you do decide to hang it up, I've seen you on Good Morning Football. I saw what you were doing with the Bills, with the podcast stuff, and some media stuff. Is that a space in broadcasting and sports media? Is that a space that you want to step into?
I wouldn't mind doing something like that. You know, I can even go back to being in high school. I did the morning news, FM squared. Shout out to
I
Fall
can see
River High
that.
School. Yeah, I did that every morning with my best one of my best friends, Levi Lambright. So, you know, we did that in high school, and you know, I feel like throughout my time of just being in sports and having to talk to the media and stuff, you just somehow get comfortable with being in front of the mic. And you know, and obviously we know football. Like we've played football our entire life, so it's like I can talk football all day, every day. Now I did the Good Morning Football thing. That was fun. That was a new experience. You know, New York City. I'm like, wow, like this is pretty cool. You know, but I never had to um, kind of answer questions like a producer and like all that type of sense. Like I've never really been in that kind of area before, so that was new. But who knows? I feel like I could dabble into it, and if I'm having fun with it, keep doing it. But if not, we'll see what else is out there.
I think you would be great at it. It's a great way to stay around the game too. Whenever you finally do decide to step away, because you're around the game, but you're not necessarily working those coaching hours, the front office hours. So it keeps you around the game. I just hope at that point you don't want my job calling the Bills
No,
games, because I
no,
think
E
they'll
look,
give it
man,
to you.
I'm not out here taking no jobs, man. If anything, we're working together, bro. That'd
No
be the
doubt.
awesome thing. But yeah, I don't coaching and yeah, like you said, front office. There's some time that they put into that. It's a lot of time that I don't want to be away from my family for sure.
No, I hear you, and that was one of the things that everyone wanted here was basically, if you're not coming back, would you be interested in coaching? Because look, I mean, it's evident, you can see the way you act on the field, the way you interact with your teammates, that you would end up one day being a great coach. Many people said the same thing to me when I was done playing, but that was time I didn't want to spend away from my family. And look, coaches have been so instrumental in my development in life,
Yep.
and I'm so grateful for them. Just at this stage of life, when my career was over, I had a 2.5 year old and a newborn. And it's like at this point, I just can't see myself wanting to be away that much. But I respect those individuals that do have that desire to do that. So, yeah, sounds like we're on the same page there.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. And maybe some days my wife is probably like, "Yeah, go coach," or like,
Yep.
get out of here, go do whatever." But we're not there yet. And I feel like just with like what you just mentioned with the kids being so young, like I couldn't do it. I have a ton of respect for the coaches that have helped me throughout my career and continue to help guys. But you know, those hours, I wouldn't say coaching is not for me because I would eventually love to coach one day. But those hours of being in the NFL and being in college, college football, that's putting in some work.
Oh yeah. Talk about a guy who was instrumental in your career. Bobby Babich gets the opportunity to step into that defensive coordinator role. How excited are you for your boy Bobby?
I'm so happy for Bobby, but I got to be honest, man. I got to be 100% honest with you. I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of mad. I don't get to as of right now, I don't get to experience seeing his growth as a defense coordinator because
Hmm.
I knew, like, you knew the time was coming, and you see like the way Bobby prepares his players is you know I've never seen it. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. I've had some very very good coaches in the past, and just the way he just is very detailed and going in the game plan and just with the nuances of the details of the playbook or the game plan for that week on how you got to go out there and you got to play and how your mindset is and stuff like that. It was cool to be around. So I feel like my success in Buffalo was definitely a big part of it was playing alongside Poe and myself maturing and understanding the game a little bit better. But at the same time, Bobby Babich has a huge part of that because, he got us ready each and every week.
Oh yeah, and you saw how he prepared Bernard to step into his
Yeah,
role this year without having any preseason. Matt Milano took a step up in his game, which was already extremely high when
yeah,
Bobby switched down to the linebacker room. Tons of respect for him. And look, it's like when my career ended, Bobby was fairly low on the totem pole, but
yeah.
from being with the Packers and your time with the Bills, like you identify those young guys within the building that may not have the role of defensive coordinator,
Mhm.
but you just can see that, okay, one day this dude is going to be up there. His attention
Yeah.
to detail, his leadership, his communication, like he will be there one day if he so desires. So it was awesome to see Bobby get that opportunity.
Oh
Quick
yeah.
shout out to Prime, number one sports drink of the planet. We appreciate them sponsoring the podcast. They got the red, white, and blue ice pop, Bills colors. Go out and get you some Bills Mafia. All right. With you, Trey, Poyer, not on the roster this spring, and look, door may be still open for Micah. We kind of heard that before. But what can the Bills fans expect from this new look secondary, at least where it stands right now here in the spring?
They're gonna be well coached. I think that what we were able to do over the last 7 years, and people can talk about the last couple of years of us being hurt and whatnot. Like that's, I mean, it's part of the game. I get it.
Right.
I missed the whole 22 season, only played 2 games. Tre'Davious had his couple injuries. Poe was kind of in and out of the lineup a few times throughout the last couple of years, so we weren't able to all play together. But just the mentality that we were able, even not even being on the field, but being in the meetings and being around the locker room and being around the guys, like that we were able to, kind of push out as leaders of the secondary or defense or the team was crucial. But these guys that they brought in and are re-signed, with Rap and D Ham, like they're gonna be well coached and they're going to be good. They're going to be good. And, I think our biggest thing when we first got there was we don't give up big plays. I mean, as
Right.
long as you don't give up big plays and you make teams, you make quarterbacks work for their yards and try to have go on 10, 12, 14 play drives to score touchdowns, which it's not likely to do every single time you get every time you get the possession. Um, that's when you're going to have a successful defense. And Sean preaches that. Bobby's going to be preaching that, and everybody beneath them is going to be preaching it. So as the players, man, they're gonna go out there, going to play well. And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
If your time as a Bill, if it is over as a active member of the Bills roster, you'll always be a part of the Bills community. But if your time as a Buffalo Bill as a player is over, what do you miss the most up there?
What will I miss the most? Oh man, a lot of things. I will miss. Um, I mean, not in this order, but I will miss just being in the locker room with the guys. Our DB dinners were always a blast. Just having the secondary around, and
What was the
the
go-to spot for those?
oh, we'd mix it up. Last year was a lot of Wayland Brewery. Shout out to them. They're amazing. They would we hit them up 15, 20 minutes before dinner and say, hey, we're about to come in. So they'd be amazing. But the DB dinners were always fun. Our house, our neighbors, oh man, just the way our neighbors always helped us. The one year we had the 2 blizzards, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I was not playing, but I was on the road with the team, Chicago, um, Detroit, and our neighbors were clearing out our vents. Like they were going to our backyard by themselves and cleaning out our vents, shoveling our driveway, shoveling our walkways, salting the walkways, the driveways. Our generator was going out. They were digging in it, cleaning out the vent or cleaning out the filter, making sure there was no ice, like just insane stuff like that. So our neighbors are amazing. Um, Man, the community, we continue. Obviously, we're going to talk about the softball game coming up, but
Yep.
the community itself, just the way they support, our foundation, but everybody's foundation. The people within the building, where you can talk about the lunch ladies, Nadine, Melanie, yeah, I'm Dale, Marcus. I'm going to leave some people out, so please don't be mad if I
Yeah.
did your name. Um, the janitors, the mailroom, Rick,
My
you
dude
know,
Rick.
yeah, Rick, Slick Rick, and just people throughout the whole, the trainers, the equipment, Jeff. I could never say enough about Jeff and Spence, Core, Scobes, all those type of guys. It's just not being able to see people that you have been with every single day for the last 7 years, which I haven't seen them, in the last couple months, and it's already like, dang, I miss those people, because you develop such a good relationship with. And I've always been a person like, even in Green Bay or when I was at Iowa or whatever, like my mom raised me when I was a young kid to like get to know people and respect your elders and whatnot. So I'm having grown up conversations with these people and I'm learning about their families and I'm learning about um, everything like that and their jobs and how I can make their jobs easier as a player. And then 7 years later, you're just like, dang, like that was flies by. So sorry to go on a rant about your question, but I'll miss everything about Buffalo, everything, and it's been a special place for us where we had our first kids, and We had our son out here in San Diego, but he was raised in Buffalo.
Mhm.
Our second daughter was born in Buffalo. Got a puppy there, got married. That was our first home. So this is just everything about Buffalo that we're gonna miss.
Yeah, you could substitute offensive line for DB, and my list is almost identical.
Hmm.
And that's what makes Buffalo special is all the things you named is
Yeah.
what makes playing for the Bills, especially when you can stick there for a long enough period of time to truly embrace the community, meet your neighbors, and have like that's what makes it truly special. All right, I got a couple fan ones real quick.
Yeah.
And by fan ones, this one actually comes from me because I don't know if you ever heard the radio broadcast when you were returning the onside kick against the Dolphins for a touchdown at the end of the game when I was saying get
Yeah.
down, but then you
Yeah,
took
I
it into the
remember
end zone. Do you think you should have went down?
that. No, no. No, I remember talking to you, I think after the game, and you were saying that you were telling me to go down, given the number of possessions. But Sean brought it up in the team meeting the day after, was highlighting how cool of a play it was, to be honest. And he looked at me and was like, "Hey, next time you're gonna go down, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Um, he kind of gave me that. You know how Sean gives that look, like not he didn't wink, but he gave that look like that was a hell of a play, but like don't just go
Right.
down. But I'm not going down. Sorry, Sean. If I were to do that again, I'm not. I'm not going down. I'm scoring that every time.
One of the
I'm on
most
defense, bro. Like, anytime you get an opportunity to get in the end zone, like I got to do it.
Hey, I'm an offensive lineman. If I had the opportunity, I would have done it too. I was just thinking strategically at the time from a broadcast perspective. Let's take a second to give a shout out to our sponsor, Dano's Seasoning. It's time to elevate your meals to a Pro Bowl level with their all natural ingredients. They are packed with flavor seasonings. Join the over 10 million fans nationwide and go out and get you some today. One of the most spectacular plays I saw you make 2022 playoffs against the Patriots. You pick off Mac Jones early in that game where the game was still tight at the time. It ended up
Yeah,
being an absolute blowout. Break down that play because it
yeah,
looked like from the broadcast booth, they had a walk in touchdown, and instead it ends up Bills football in your hands.
yeah. If I remember correct, we were in some type of single high defense. I want to say single high coverage. I'm playing in the middle of the field. I was disguising, I think, a little bit if I'm looking at the offense, the right hash. And then got to the middle of the field. I think right before the snap, and got in a little backpedal. And I think Mac Jones saw single high right away because that was an easy tell. I think corners might have been off or pressed, but it was showing single high. And so looked over at the receiver. I'm 20, 25 yards deep in the middle of the field, so it's hard for me to really see what the quarterback's like exactly looking at. But you can kind of see like the way his stripe is on his helmet, where he's kind of looking. And I kind of just saw his eyes a little bit looking that way. But then usually quarterbacks will look one way, pump that way, and go the other, or just it's a chess match out there. Like
Right.
I'm watching film and I'm trying to see how double moves, what he's looking at, or even just like quick game or intermediate or deep balls. Like you always want to see what the quarterback sees and how he goes about each and every pass play. But I saw he pumped to him, and then kept his eyes on him. And at that time, once he pumped, I was gone. But then he kept his eyes on him. Like, there's no way he's throwing this ball. So I just, kind of put my head down, sprint, and I look up, and to this day, I can't even really explain to you how I tracked the ball. It was a night game, and like
Right.
it's like as soon as I looked up, it's like the ball was like I could see it. It was right there. And this second, couple maybe a second and a half or whatever before the ball actually got to me. Um, and I knew I had to like put my head down and burst because I could kind of see out the corner of my eye that Levi was beat. And so just put my head down, look up, and the ball was there. And from there, I just had to reach. And yeah, after that, kind of blacked out. It was a huge play in the game, and I would say one of the best plays I think I've ever made. So it was cool to help the team out that way.
That was such a good explanation. That was way better than I expected it to be. I know that you're great at being able to communicate, defensive concepts, but to be able to explain it to an offensive lineman that's never played safety and
Yeah,
to be able to get into that much nuance, that was really well done. All right,
good job.
Jordan Porter did not give bulletin board material a few weeks ago on the podcast when he said I would get Josh down in the open field, but then someone ran with it and blew it up.
Of course, of
But
course.
but now all the Bills fans want to ask, like, who do you have in the open field in a matchup between Josh Allen and Jordan Poyer?
Oh man, like there's so many different factors that go into that.
How
Like
much
you can't
space?
it's the pace. Like for me personally, as a safety, it's like if I'm in the middle of or even deep, like the kids always ask me like, what's the number one thing you got to know as a safety, especially a free safety, because that's where I mostly played. Is like you are the last line of defense. You don't let anybody behind you. Like I equate it to like being center fielder, or playing outfield, and I played baseball in high school all through my life. Like the coach always taught me, whenever that ball is hit and it's in the air and it's coming to the outfield, your first step is always back. You never step up. You never think that you're gonna go have to make a diving play right away. You always take a step back or pop your feet and know, like, if it's short, then you can run up. You never let the ball sail behind you unless it's a home run. And so that's kind of the mentality I have as a middle field safety. And so I'm saying all that to say, like, there's so many different factors that I'm going to know where my help is. I know if there's guys running this way, then I know I'm going to push him to the sideline and make the tackle that way. So this is you can't you can't say, oh, Josh is going to run Poe over, or Poe's gonna make the tackle on Josh, 10 out of 10 times. You don't know. They're both amazing players. I've seen them every day for the last 6 years for Josh, 7 years for Poe. Poe's a hell of a tackle, a hell of a competitor that can get anybody down in the league. But at the same
Right.
time, I've seen what Josh can do. He can hurdle people. He can run people over. He can run past people. This is the NFL, man. You don't know what anybody can do.
As a defender, when everyone says that Josh is acting like he's giving himself up and then he takes off and runs, as a defender, you're watching Josh in those moments. It doesn't look like to me that he's ever fake sliding or giving himself up. He rarely ever gives himself up, period, anyway. So you can't just assume he's going to. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if I'm playing against Josh Allen, I'm saying that he's not giving himself up.
Right.
You're gonna have to hit him, because guys in the league that are Lamar Jackson. He's gonna make a move and he's going. And then obviously Josh is one of those guys too. But then you got I'm just thought a name. First name came to mind, Kirk Cousins. He's gonna most of the time he's probably gonna slide if he gets an open field.
Yep.
So quarterbacks like that, but it's hard, man. It's hard because the game is moving so fast, and they want us to make a split-second decision, and you really just don't know if he's gonna slide or not. So it's difficult, man. I hate it.
Oh, it's so tough. And when they slide at the last minute and then the defender gets either a helmet to helmet or a personal foul, to me, those are weak. And then my thoughts on this is, and this is an offensive player saying this, if ever you look like you're running out of bounds to the sideline as a quarterback and you turn up field and catch a few more yards, you should be fair game on the sideline the whole rest of the game, period.
100%.
And I just have watched that happen too many times where I'm like, look, at this point, I don't even know how you play defense other than maybe run over there, stick your hands out so you're not giving up a huge blow, but you still are forcing them out of bounds. But even then, they could turn into you, run you over. You
Yep.
get booed out of the stadium because you just got ran over by a quarterback because you don't know how to play that along the sideline. So that's my
Exactly.
thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's too hard to play defense in this league, man. You can't get your hands on receivers. The Would they just come up with the hip drop tackle? The
Yep.
out, Come on, man. I'm 190. On game day. I'm probably 195. Throughout the week, I'm about 199, 198. And you expect me to just form up a 260-pound tight end that's running straight at me? Like, bro, you gotta. It's wrestling. Like it's some form of wrestling. You have to get him down any way you can. If you got a hip drop or you got a trip, or I get you can't trip, but like knock their legs or something, you got to get them down. So it's impossible.
And they've been teaching the rugby style tackling ever since they had the emphasis without head contact. Like when we were growing up playing football, it was put your helmet on the football and wrap them up. Like put the crown of your helmet on the football, wrap them up, try and knock the ball loose. Well, you can't do that anymore. So they taught this rugby style tackling, which is very similar to the hip drop that's now
Mhm.
being banned because a few guys got hurt last year. It's tough to be a defender in this league, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
man. Yeah.
All right. So May 19th, 2 p.m., Bison Stadium, you got your annual softball event. Tell me a little bit about this event. Where's the money that's being raised? Where's that going to? Let's get that out of the way
Yes,
first.
the money being raised is the Magic for Youth does amazing things in the community of Buffalo. We have back to school drives. We have our Kicks for Kids events that we hand out. Over the years, we've handed out like I think over last year was like 1,500 or don't 2 years ago or something like that. We handed out over 1,500 pairs of shoes for kids
Wow.
for Christmas. Yeah, free Nikes. It's dope, man. But we do a lot within the community of Buffalo. And then also we're gonna dish out some money to Oshai Children's Hospital. Amazing people up there. We visit every single year, and we've had a few stays with our children up there, so we know how important they are to the youth. And then other few organizations within Buffalo that we're going to be kicking some money to. So it's a great event that for the city of Buffalo, all the organizations that we're able to benefit and help. But also this year, because technically I'm not even on the team right now. We are going to be shooting some money out to guys that are participating in the game that have either donor advised funds or their own foundations also. So, guys attend the games that or attend the charity game that have their own foundation, they're going to get a kick of it too. So it's pretty awesome, and just the whole city is gonna benefit from it.
Yeah, it's so fun. I played in it one year. It's really well done. It's really well attended. You
Appreciate it.
know, these Buffalo sports fans, Sabre season's done, unfortunately. So it gives them something to get excited about, see the
Yeah.
Bills players out in action, out on the field. You can get your tickets at HydeCharitySoftball.com. And if anyone wasn't in attendance for last year, will Josh be there again?
We're hoping so. We're hoping so.
Okay.
Josh is a huge supporter of it. I love him. That's my man. Ride or
Whoa.
die, ride or die with Josh. So I'm hoping he'll be there. We have the home run derby before. Last year we had a kids tailgate, which went so well that now we're blocking off the whole street in front of the
Wow.
in front of the ballpark, and it's gonna be bigger and better than ever. So everybody, bring your families, bring who like yeah. My kids are gonna be there, and they're gonna be going through the kids tailgate, getting their face painted, playing all these games, doing whatever. Coming to the game, watch a home run derby between some guys, and then the game, as playing in it, it's awesome, man. You're just joking around, having fun, and hopefully get some autographs at the end and some good food, good drinks, and leave up out of there on an amazing Sunday.
Well, as long as Josh shows up, it's worth of the price of admission to watch him hit homers. I actually saw it first on the official MLB, Major League Baseball.com. Their social media put the picture or put the videos of him hitting the ball out of the park. And I'll say this. Uh, he flew straight from my house private. He flew straight from Kentucky Derby to
Yeah,
make it in for the home run derby. And blame it on bad bartenders. We got a little overserved a couple times, and to see him hitting the ball like that, I'm like, I mean, Sunday I was in recovery mode, and
I
he's up there
heard.
hitting balls onto the highway. I
Yeah, I
mean,
heard. I heard about it. When he showed up, I was like, oh, like you just. But that's I can't say enough. I can't say enough about Josh. I'm not even talking about the football player. I'm talking about as a
right?
person, man. He's somebody that just radiate. He comes around and everyone just feels his positive energy. And when he shows up to an event like that and supports it, it means the world to not only my foundation, but to the community and to my family and whoever else. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's that dude. Mike, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. Everybody go out, support Micah's softball game. And brother, if you're not back in Buffalo next year, it would pain me to see you in another jersey, but I'd rather have you in the booth hanging out. But
Yep,
man, I wish you the best.
I
And I'll be
appreciate it,
praying
man.
for you through this decision. I know it's tough. But we'll be praying for you and Amanda making this decision, brother.
I appreciate you, man. You and the family take care, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
Yep. Love you, brother.